Good morning, boys and girls. 20 after the hour, about 10 minutes to market open on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. And just doing some pre-market analysis, working on the daily bias for today. And I'm thinking I'm still sticking with a bullish bias. We did have what looks like sort of some sideways action here. Not a whole lot going on. We did have a downtrend in the yesterday's New York session, which Asian session was not able to overcome or have a market manipulation around either. But then we did have it come up and come back down. London session completely engulfed Asian session. And it looks like it moved to a higher point right now that we're looking at for our London highs. So I'm thinking we're still in a bullish uptrend, even though we had a couple of breaks of structure on the 1 minute. I'm sorry, the 1 hour. That's right here with new hourly low here, breaking the previous hourly low or New York low from before. But all in all, everything's still looking like an uptrend. We do have this very large candle coming up, so there is a good chance we'd probably be looking at some kind of retrace early before coming back up. Um, we also have fair market value gap on the S&P that we're still dealing with through here. It looks like it's just about, looks like it's, oh no, wait, it's up here. So we still have a little bit of fair market value gap to fill up here, some imbalance to look after. Um, we have a lot of areas of liquidity up in here that we can look at. So right now, we're just going to take our time, take a look at what the market gives us. For the time being, I'm still thinking we're looking bullish overall. It just depends on what the early market open movement is going to give us in terms of any possible entries or any early scalps that we can do. So this is just going to be a patient wait and see kind of thing. There's really nothing I'm seeing in the 1 hour in terms of a major SMT divergence that's giving me any indication on anything. Let's take a quick look here. No, everything is pretty much right on. Yeah, nothing major. We have something here. This is up. This is down. We might come back down. I'm thinking we're going to get some kind of retrace coming into here, but there's really nothing more that it's giving us. Moving to the 5 minute here on each of these. I marked off other areas of liquidity. So right here, you can clearly see what's happening with the London session and pre-market, that it completely engulfed the sideways, and this is all sideways movement right here. Um, London immediately took out Asia, popped up a little bit, took out New York, and then began an upward push, which looks like what we might have is a small market manipulation. I'm thinking a little bit to the downside, maybe taking some liquidity here, um, and then pushing higher. With as close as we are, we could. The other option would be is we come up and we sweep some of these highs up here, and then make a push down. Um, right now, I'm going to be looking at some fair market value gaps, probably something in here that was tested briefly and failed. We have another fair market value gap here, and then another one here that's slightly being looked at as well. So initial push very well could be to try to balance out this fair value gap. And if we see that this fair value gap is being respected, especially when it gets down into here and then pushes up, then that'd be a good indicator as well to try to look for an entry. So for the time being, right now, the only thing that we have that's really making any real sense is, in terms of any range that we can work with for liquidity, is going to be the London session highs and lows, which I'm going to mark off right now. Okay. Yeah, because it even engulfed New York. Yeah, it even already took out New York previous day. So we very well could have the early morning sweep. So we'll have just a minor liquidity sweep here, which likely will be the test of this fair value gap and a test of this fair value gap in here with a move back upward. So we're just going to sit tight. Got about a little over 4 minutes, about 4 minutes to market open. And we'll just take a look at some price action and see what happens from there. Just some quick notes here. Just looking at the account real quick. We've got about $440 and change, a little under 440, to be able to qualify this account. This will be the fifth trading day on this prop account for qualification. So if I take a trade, that'll at least qualify that particular requirement, and then if we pull some profit out today that meets the next requirement, then that should qualify the account and be ready to convert it to a full funded account that we can start working toward pulling some profit and work on getting some cash draws. So we got about 2 minutes to market open. It looks like we're making a slight push higher toward previous London highs. I think we might test that liquidity a little bit, maybe at market open, and then drop into the fair value gap. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a SMT divergence here. Yep, sure enough. All right, so we're looking now at an SMT divergence. And it looks like the NASDAQ is going to be the lead on this. This is going to be a bearish SMT divergence based on the uptrends. So we're pretty much anticipating at this point then that we are going to be dropping into that fair value gap first before making a surge higher. So I'm going to anticipate that that's where it's going to go. Might be worthwhile to take a quick scalp on that move if it makes a quick move, which it very well could here in just about a minute. But yeah, clearly we have that divergence you can see here from this point to this point up here, and then from this point down to this point here. So I'm going to anticipate market open drop going to fill the fair value gap. Okay, about 15 seconds to market open. we've got market open now. Take a look here. Give this a moment. I'm going to go to the 1 minute and look for a break of structure. Oh, no, looks like we're going to take London highs first before coming down. Okay. Still looking pretty good on an uptrend here. Let's switch to the 1 minute here real quick. Still not seeing anything that looks like a good entry just yet. We have a fair value gap right here that we could be breaking, or that we could inverse, break of structure. That's really what we're looking for right now. Something to bring us down into this level here. We do have some additional areas of liquidity up here that we could be targeting as well, but I think that's more about a manipulation or liquidity sweep. I think that's probably more than likely going to actually be profit targets. I'm just feeling that we're going to be dropping down into here to help equalize this imbalance right in here a little bit. So we're just going to wait for a break of structure. Right now, this is our low. But we didn't have the candle close out below the lows, so we're just going to wait for that to happen, because somewhere in here is going to be our market move. And we're still showing that SMT divergence. So if we get this candle to close below this line, that'd be a great place to take a short. Quick one anyway. Profit target would probably be somewhere below these lows or right in here as part of the liquidity, because we still have some fair value gap there that can be respected and or inversed. So either way, we're in good shape. All right, we got a few seconds left on this. If this closes out below, this would be a great place for a short. Okay, tested it, but not there. So let's take a look if we get a more of a move. Still not giving us much of anything, so we're just going to sit tight. Okay, starting to make the push down below again. There we go. Okay, so this would be a good buy, sell signal right here. Looks like we're already targeting some lows there. I'm going to go ahead and take the short. We did get a little bit of a liquidity sweep there. Let's see what we got here. I'm I'm going to keep the loss low on this if that's the case, but I'm thinking this is going to continue dropping. So yeah, we still got this dropping out. Okay, I'm going to take some profit there just to not be too harsh with it because this is a low time frame area of liquidity. So a little scalp, not bad. But now we've got some additional move that we could make. If we start pushing out this fair value gap in here, then we might have that. I'm going to move to the 5-minute time frame on this. We definitely have a break of structure, so we are, yeah. So here's our fair value gap here that we're respecting. If we inverse this fair value gap, I'll take another short, but that's our spot right there. So I'm just going to mark this off as the bottom of our fair value gap. We have a fair value gap on the 1 minute over in over on the S&P that looks like is being tested. So the fair value gap on the 5 minutes being tested. I'm going to move over here. Check out the 5 minute here. We have a fair value gap here that's also being tested. It's a smaller, well, it's actually really tiny. There's not much of one over on the S&P. It's really over on the NASDAQ. So we'll use the NASDAQ as the indicator, as the confirmation. If we inverse and close out below this, then that'd be another good place to take an additional short. I think we're looking for some, to get that imbalance more balanced out. Let's go to the 1 minute over here and see if we have something that works for us here. Yeah, we're getting pretty close. We're testing it. We still have a little time left. If it breaks below, then there's another one. We have an area of liquidity here, plus testing this as well. So right now it's respecting that gap. We still got some time. So this is really the market manipulation here. This is not a common place to take a solid setup. This is more just anticipating what the market manipulation and the liquidity sweep is going to be. So right now, liquidity sweep is looking like it is trying to create more balance along this imbalance that's shown here, especially when you look at the 5 minute, because we have the 5 minute over here. You can clearly see the fair value gap that's here on the S&P. Fair value gap would be this section right here. So we're just going to wait for a candle to close out and inverse this fair value gap. There'll be some profit taking here, and then we're going to test this fair value gap and go up from there. So let's get ready here, because if this closes below, this will be a good quick sell for a quick scalp. Got about 15 seconds left on this candle. Right, looks like we're testing it again. If we inverse that gap, then we should be pretty good that that's our confirmation and continuation that we're going to continue downward. Okay, not quite there, so we're testing it again, but didn't quite do it. So this could drop below again. We may or may not get an opportunity here with this. All right, we're starting to push. There we go. Starting to push below. Let's see here. I think we are going to continue lower here. We have some liquidity that we can take in the low time frame just here with test of the fair value gap. I mean, it's a riskier trade, but for a quick scalp, there might be an opportunity there to take some more. But you can see here that this original fair value gap is really putting up some resistance. And we still haven't done it. Yeah, so it looks like that fair value gap's going to hold. Okay. All right. Looks like it's going to hold. So basically, we're just looking for a break of, excuse me, a break of structure to the upside, which is going to be right here. If we get a break of structure to the upside, then we should be able to say that this value gap's going to hold, because right now these doji candles are giving us an indication that's possible. So we've got one of two ways to go, depending on what this candle tells us. Switch over here, put this to the 1 minute, see if we have an opportunity here. Yeah, they're both looking very similar. So, all right. All right, doesn't look like we're going to get our break of structure on this candle, but we're having, yeah, there's a fight on this fair value gap right here. Okay. Starting to get a much more positive move now. If this candle finishes above, then it looks like we're headed back back in a positive way. Yeah, we're making a good move now. All right, so we have a high that is breaking above these highs. We're looking like we're getting to a point break of structure. We just got to get this candle to close above, and then we'll have a true break of structure here. No, looks like it wants to play around in the fair value gap. Okay, so still nothing giving us a good entry. We're not taking any chances here. Looks like we're starting to get to the right place, but it's just playing around. Okay. Looks like we got one going one way, one kind of going the other. So we might have a divergence developing here. Excuse me, but there's nothing on the S&P to give us any real indication other than just we've got, some liquidity that we can look at here and some liquidity here, because the fair value gap on the S&P is over here. There isn't one really to play with over here. A small one that's been inversed, but nothing major. This one is, to me, the more likely indicator, given that we got a lot of chop going on right now at this point in the market. Whoops. So we're just going to sit this part out, stay on the sidelines until we see that there's some distinct move one way or another, because right now there's a lot of back and forth on whether or not we're going to get fair value gap, break of structure, any of that. So looks like we're getting a bit of a bullish SMT divergence going on here. So it's on the 1 minute, which isn't as reliable, but given that I'm still looking for a break of structure to the upside and we're looking at an upside trend here, if we get the upside break here, then there's a pretty good likelihood that S&P is going to follow, because NASDAQ seems to be the lead on this. And we still haven't had a solid break of structure yet. Yeah, we got a major SMT divergence starting to happen here. We've got the S&P hanging out in this area of liquidity here. We've got the NASDAQ that's hanging out in this fair value gap. So, I mean, I'm really feeling like if we can get a candle just to close above here, then I think we're going to be in a good spot to take a long. There we go. We're getting there. We just need it to close. We just haven't had a candle close above that yet. And because of that, that doesn't give us a whole lot of confidence that this is a strong long just yet. But I think since we've been hanging out here long enough, that's probably going to be the case. Okay, so here we go. We've got 1, Okay, got a new candle here. I'm gonna see if this takes a drop. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take a long. It broke just barely above, so now we're just gonna, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna pop out of that. I probably should have held on to that a little longer. Let's take a look where we're at here. All right, we're just a little bit off. Might let that pull back. I can always get back in. It does look like it's stronger. If that one, if S&P breaks above, maybe S&P is going to be the better target at this point. If we get a break of structure on the S&P, I think I might take the S&P instead. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a long on the S&P. And target is going to be previous highs. I'm going to go ahead and pop out of that one. I wasn't in that very long. Really close. I might get back in. I'm going to wait for this candle to resolve. Okay, that was a good call. Okay, we might have a good place for a buy here. We have higher highs and higher lows, so this is still definitely an uptrend. I'm gonna hang out for a second. Something makes me think we're gonna get a little bit more of a break to the downside here. There's just technically this could be a good spot to enter if I'm still feeling bullish. But man, this area just loves to consolidate right here. So I don't think there's anything I want to risk right now. All right, we're looking good to head back up and be bullish. Hmm. Let's move to a higher time frame and see if there's something significant going on here that I'm not seeing elsewhere. Excuse me. Yeah, there's nothing that I'm seeing here. See, we're still demonstrating a slight downtrend on the 5 minute. So I think this is where the fight is on this. We still got lower highs. And on the 5 minute, it looks like we're getting an SMT divergence. It looks like a bullish SMT, but there's still the chance that this fair value gap right in here is going to get tested. So there's just not a lot for entries right now. Definitely an SMT going on, 5 minute. Right here, low to low, low to what's going to end up being another low. So ultimately, we are looking at trying to go bullish. It's just how much of this is going to get tested. We do have some targets of liquidity right in here. Let's go back to the 1 minute, see if there's anything that looks like an entry. We did not get barely got a break of structure to the downside. Barely here. So again, nothing that gives me a lot of confidence. Boy, the market's really testing. All right, so here we got a break of structure to the downside. So, and we haven't quite swept that liquidity yet, but that's what we're looking at now. So again, here's that divergence, which is giving us kind of an opposite flow of what we're looking at with the giving us an opposite of what the break of structure is giving us. But the break of structure is on the 1 minute, so it's more just a entry confluence if we were to enter on something like that. But this is a lot of sideways chop in here. Some little indicators, but nothing that really is talking about a good entry. We're just getting a lot of sideways. So we're just going to have to wait it out until we see if the Bears or the Bulls win. Okay, looks like we're going to get a break of structure to the downside. Might have something here on the S&P, even though the divergence is giving us a different indicator. It's just so much sideways, and we haven't even gotten to this liquidity down here or this liquidity here. So market's just not giving us anything right now. Go back to the 5 minute. All right, we got 30 seconds left on this 5 minute candle. If this does create the break of structure, it's actually not even break of structure, it's still a downtrend. That's really what it's showing on the 5 minute. But we have that divergence, you know? I don't know, I just don't see an entry. I see an SMT divergence. I'm going to see if there's an entry on the 1 minute. because at this point, maybe a break of structure to the upside. There's not even any fair value gaps to go from. There's so much consolidation. So we have kind of a high here, kind of a high here, kind of a high here, kind of a high here. Yeah, literally a whole lot of nothing. So much sideways right now. So on the 1 minute, if that fair value gap gets broken, and it looks like this is headed south, then looks like we could get another good short. But that that divergence SMT is, that's what's disconcerting. So we'd really have to break below these lows and finish below those lows, which is, we popped them, but we just keep testing and testing and testing. See, we keep testing it. All right, so now we're starting to push lower. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get down in. I'm going to go ahead and take a, should have taken it earlier because this is going to pop back up. We're getting down into that fair value gap. That was kind of a mistake. I think we're testing that fair value gap. It probably would have been better to get that ahead. Yeah, that was a bad decision. Okay, we're definitely closed below that though, so I'm going to get out of this as soon as it dips to break even because this is not a good spot to be in here. Not where I wanted it to be. It's testing the fair value gap. I'm going to have to hold this for just a minute. Yeah, I got in at a tough spot, so we'll have to see. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm out. Okay. And with that, I've met the thing. Okay, so I've done what I had to do. The account is qualified. So I am just going to sit tight and watch the rest. This is going to drop down into that gap. There's probably more that could have gone there, but doesn't mean anything to me at this point because the idea was just passing the eval, which now it has. I've got 5 days trading. I've got the $3,000 amount met. So at this point, I've fulfilled the eval, and this one's done for the day. I could move to paper, but I just, I don't see the point here. I've got, we're getting on to the morning now. There's a few other things that I can do and take care of. So I am going to call it for today, boys and girls. It's just a slow, easy, slow burn today. Dealing with the fair value gaps through here and here. At some point, we'll probably see this get tested. If it breaks, we're going to continue down. If it doesn't, then that's going to be our balance, and it'll come back up to highs. But things are just moving very, very slowly today. So I'm going to call it on this one, and we will see you tomorrow to begin working toward getting some profit built up, and trying to take a payout. So next goal, first payout. All right, boys and girls. Thanks for joining me. Hope you learned something, and happy trading, safe trading. Manage your risk, manage your emotions. We'll see you tomorrow.